How's it going, and welcome back to Links to the Past, the series where I tell a story from Zelda lore. Previously, we've covered two of the greatest battles fought 100 years before the Great Calamity prior to Breath of the Wild. Check those out with the playlist link if you haven't already. And if you want to show your support for the series, be sure to drop a like or subscribe if you haven't done. Today though, we're not telling a story from Breath of the Wild's lore. We're covering the gods of the Zelda series themselves, the three golden goddesses, and telling the story of one of the darkest days of Hyrule, in which these omnipotent deities themselves were forced to intervene, using their divine might to alter the course of history. There have only been a couple of times in Zelda lore in which the gods have intervened with Hyrule, another famous example being banishing the Twilight, which I might cover in the future. But for now, let's go back through Hyrule's history to the era without a hero, a dark time in which the most powerful beings in existence were forced to act. Many ages ago, before the kingdom of Hyrule was established, before the first hero picked up his sword, before the earth and the ground and the sky were formed, there existed only chaos. From the heavens, three beings descended, known as the Golden Goddesses. Din, the goddess of power, took this chaos and formed the land and earth. Nehru, the goddess of wisdom, gave the law and order to this land. And Farore, the goddess of courage, created all life forms which populated the world. When their work was done and the world had been formed, the goddesses built an object of limitless power, the Triforce, and created a being to protect this omnipotent artifact, the goddess Hylia, and left the world and the Triforce under her protection, ascending back to the heavens. Why exactly the goddesses created this artifact is unknown, as throughout Hyrule's history it, and the power it holds, has been the target of multiple horrific wars. However, it seems to be essential for the kingdom to prosper, as seen when Lorule, an alternate counterpart world to Hyrule, destroyed their Triforce, causing their kingdom to fall into ruin and chaos. Ages have passed since the days of the creation of Hyrule, and now the story of the goddesses has faded from memory into mere legend, a tale told by sailors in the many taverns scattered around the islands of the Great Sea. This ocean is endless. As far as the eye can see in every direction, the ceaseless blue of its cold waters twist and turn with the wind. But this is no normal ocean. No fish swim in its waters, no man can swim between its shores. The Great Sea is an illusion, ethereal waters sent from the heavens to bury the memory of an ancient kingdom below. What little is remembered of this kingdom is a sad tale, a story of Hyrule's divine intervention. Centuries before people lived on the islands of the Great Sea, they lived in peace in the kingdom of Hyrule. There was no war, no famine. Farmers tended to their livestock amongst bright green hills, living in towns and villages surrounding the white jewel of the kingdom, Hyrule Castle. The last true threat to Hyrule had been sealed away by the Hero of Time. This ancient hero's feats of bravery and strength in sealing the Dark Lord Ganon generations ago were remembered by the people, when during Hyrule's darkest hour, when all hope was lost, a boy dressed in green appeared as if from nowhere and sealed away the evil. In reality, it was only with the unyielding courage of Link and the combined might of the Seven Sages that Ganon had been sealed away, even with the full force of the Triforce of Power at his command. It was during this long age of peace that, for reasons unknown, the seal placed on Ganon began to weaken, and slowly but surely he regained his power. And so it was on one fateful day the fair green hills of Hyrule were split asunder, as Ganon burst from beneath the earth with an explosion of dark power. Clouds of black magic poured from within like waves of smoke, the Demon King fueled by centuries of burning resentment. He was finally free to finish what he started. Just as he promised generations ago when he was sealed by the Hero of Time, Ganon returned to exterminate the descendants of those who sealed him, and grind their kingdom into the dust. He struck like lightning from a clear sky, his unholy magic tearing buildings to pieces and setting cities ablaze. Before the people of Hyrule knew what was happening, the vicious onslaught was upon them. Their armies were broken, their swords and spears no use against the beast's evil magic. With him he brought legions of bestial warriors, Darknuts and moblins laid waste to whatever they could find. Soldiers were slaughtered in their hundreds and their corpses burned to ash. The hot smoke from the burning kingdom filled the air, staining the bright blue skies a wicked black. During this dark hour, the people of Hyrule waited for the boy in green to save them, to bring the might of the sword that seals the darkness and slay the Dark Lord. They waited as their cities fell around them, as night fell for the return of the hero. But no one came. No boy in green appeared, like he had years ago, to cast back the evil. During this horrific slaughter, the people of Hyrule had never felt more alone or more desperate. Ganon and his army had breached the heart of the kingdom, Hyrule Castle, and began to lay siege to the stronghold, slaying anyone in their path. Yet one man stood against the evil. At the edge of his kingdom's defeat, King Daphnis no Hansen Hyrule met Ganon's foul power with his own magic. Where his knights and soldiers had no way to defend themselves against the might of the Demon Lord, the king had enough power to push back the darkness. But it was not enough. As surely as he had broken the sacred seal upon himself, Ganon broke the magic the king brought to bear against him, and with it, the last defense the kingdom had. The war was over. Ganon had won. His army poured into Hyrule Castle, and his victory was assured. Hyrule was his to dominate, to oppress, to rule. But he hadn't slain everyone. And so, with no hope left for the hero, with nowhere left to turn, the people of Hyrule prayed. They prayed to the gods, to the mighty Triforce, that this black night would end. On their knees they sang and pleaded to their gods, begging for the end of this evil. The king himself, defeated by the darkness, left his kingdom's fate in the hands of the gods. And the gods answered. In the midst of the massacre, a voice from the heavens spoke to the Hylian people. The goddesses had listened to their prayers and instructed chosen men and women to flee to the highest peaks of the kingdom. The tide of battle was about to turn, the Hylians aided by the might of deities. The king of Hyrule, perhaps blaming himself for the slaughter of his people, broke the Triforce of Wisdom into two pieces and told Princess Zelda to flee for the mountains with her servants, while he stayed to go down with his kingdom. A moment of silence fell upon Hyrule, as the few survivors looked to the skies, drawn by some ancient power. Even the servants of Ganon stopped their assault, confused by something far above. And then the heavens split open. The skies above the ruined land were torn asunder, and sacred rain began to pour. This was no normal rain, this was a direct intervention by the gods. Like great waterfalls from the stars, the sacred water cascaded down upon the kingdom, drowning the cursed land under endless tides. From the mountaintops, those who had fled watched their homes vanish beneath the waves, along with the hills, fields, castles and roads. The king himself, along with the castle, was protected and frozen in time, along with the evil soldiers within it, at the bottom of the ocean. Even the eternal burning hatred of Ganon, the ancient raging malice of the Demon King, was extinguished by the weight of this torrential downpour. His assault stopped in its tracks by the power of the ancient deities, drowned beneath a new sea. When all hope was lost, a divine intervention by the golden goddesses of old ensured the continuation of the Hylian people, yet the kingdom itself was washed away. Although the flames of Ganon's return were extinguished by the goddesses, the kingdom of Hyrule, save for its castle, was destroyed. Years later, the kingdom beneath the waves has been forgotten, yet its legend remains on the wind's breath. Thanks for watching this episode of Links to the Past, covering the backstory of Wind Waker. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new for more Zelda content. Also, if you've got any ideas for stories you'd like to see covered, be sure to leave them in the comments section below. I need to give a huge shout out to Flexter Oscura over on Twitter, because I didn't have a capture card for this video. My setup doesn't work at the moment and they provided me with a huge amount of footage that they recorded in Wind Waker for me to make this video possible. So huge shout out to you. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.